Special guest here, Sheriff of Washtenaw County, Jerry Clayton. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And you know, as the most listened to radio station in Washtenaw County, it's important that you hear from your sheriff's department. That's awesome that you come in here. Please know you have an open mic whenever you want it.
I appreciate that.
We talked about 09 and what you did. Now 010, looking forward.
Sure. Talk a little bit about 10, but before we just close that door on 09, I don't want people to think we were just thinking about money. I mean, we really were focusing on attempting to deliver the best service. So we really had a focus on engaging community, putting some strategies together to hit some of communities that traditionally have been at risk, and really having some what we call comprehensive strategies, not just law enforcement, not just police officers, but working with the elected officials in those communities, working with the residents, working with property owners, and really what our focus is sustainable change. You know, we can always redeploy staff, increase the number for a while, see some crime numbers go down, perception of safety change, and then when we redeploy those staff, everything goes back to the way it used to be, and that's not our focus. We really want to engage community and partner with them to make that sustainable change. So we started that initiative in 9, and moving into 10, there are two primary focuses that we have. For most of the residents of Washtenaw County know that we have a jail expansion coming online middle of this year. So we will add about 112 beds. So our overall capacity will be about 440 inmates. And we're going to have a new admission center. So a lot of people are like, well, what does that really mean? How we process people in and out of our jail. And then other folks would ask, well, why is that important? It really is the key to how we manage the population. And the reason why it's important to county residents is simply this. It's their jail. I've just been asked to be the keeper of it and make sure we manage it appropriately. They need to know that we needed the beds, but that's not going to solve all our problems. We really need to have a community-based approach to managing offender behavior. And the Sheriff's Office is trying to at least be the leader in that charge. So we're engaging all the other criminal justice partners, some of the residents that find this interesting, and the human services partners. I mean, you know, Washtenaw County is a big human services county. We believe in trying to create a safety net for folks. Well, a lot of the people we have in the Sheriff's Office in the jail are part of the folks that hit that safety net. Mm-hmm. So we think it's extremely important that we partner with human services agencies, get into those communities, and create this continuum where we help manage the offender population throughout that entire continuum. Because here's what we know. Most of the folks in the county jail are Washtenaw County residents. Once they finish their sentence, whatever that may be, they're coming back into our county. So it's important to us to at least attempt to help them address some root cause issues. So let's manage the risk. Let's make sure we're not putting people back out in the community that are a risk to us. But also, let's put in place some programs systemically to help manage those root cause issues, be it substance abuse, homelessness, be it mental health issues. All of those things we should be thinking about as a community.
Now, a lot of counties across America, is that addressed, or is this? Because I'll be honest, I've been on tours of 2 jails. One was the Washtenaw County Jail, and it was very nice. One was the LA County Jail, and let me tell you,
oh, wow.
that terrified me.
I can imagine.
That absolutely terrified me, and it seemed to me that in the LA County Jail, it was 2 totally different environments. I mean, it was basically just penning people off into different areas so they didn't hurt each other or hurt the employees there, and that seemed to be the primary and only focus there.
Yeah, having never been in the LA County Jail, but knowing some of the different philosophies that sheriffs that run jails across the country, and a lot of times their philosophy is going to be reflective of the residents, the community they serve. So a lot of times we say, you know where you live and work, and try to align your values with that population. So sometimes there's this lock them up, let them do their time, let them serve their sentence, put them back out. And we know in Washtenaw County that's really not. I mean, everybody believes that you should pay the cost if you violate a crime, and I agree with that. And we believe in being very aggressive in apprehending criminals and putting them in jail, because that's how we keep our residents and the community safe. The other part of it is, we keep talking about this. So what's the definition of insanity?
Repeating the same behavior and expecting different results.
Expecting a different outcome. And when you really think about our criminal justice system, it really does fit the definition of insanity. We do the same thing. We arrest them, we put them in jail, judge gives them a sentence, they sit there for 30, 60, whatever many days, they go right back out.
And repeat. Mm-hmm.
So we have to change that cycle. And one of the reasons why I think it's important to change the cycle is because if we don't at least attempt to help that person help themselves when they go back out, the next victim could be one of us.
There you go.
So it's important that we're mindful of that, and it's important from a resident standpoint that we know we all have that responsibility. I was fortunate enough to be elected to help lead the office, but quite frankly, our success as an office is grounded in a very engaged and educated community, because we think that's our best partner. So we keep reaching out. So I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come on the show and talk a little bit about this, because we think the educated community is our best partner. So we continue to attempt to do that.
We're going to take a little break here and come back and talk about the police services and wrap it up with the Sheriff of Washtenaw County. Stick around. It's 102.9 W4 Country, 7:53.